Hey everybody, this is Brandon Grysko. Thanks for joining us on the Fausone Bohn YouTube channel. Fausone Bohn is your premier full-service law firm in Western Wayne County, serving clients throughout the state of Michigan. I focus on representing business owners, HR leaders, and labor relations professionals in matters concerning business transactions and labor and employment law. And I'm here today to talk about things that you should be thinking about in preparation for Wave 2 of the global health pandemic that we find ourselves in currently. The first thing that I want you guys to think about when it comes to preparing for Wave 2 is technology solutions. So in the event of another government-imposed shutdown, or in the event of an exposure incident in the workplace that prevents your employees from being in person, do you have the physical and technological infrastructure for your employees to resume operations from home or another remote location? It's really important to have these things in place because, as we saw back in March when the shutdown happened in the first place, all of a sudden employers found themselves scrambling to try and get people the equipment and the resources they needed to work from home. As things have started to reopen, now is the time to be considering what your infrastructure needs are for your employees to work from home and what needs to be in place in order for them to be able to do that at the drop of a hat, so to speak. Another area that you should consider is your employment policies and practices and what procedures you have in place to support your managers, supervisors, HR leaders, and others who may be managing employees that are now working from home suddenly in the midst of Wave 2 of the pandemic. What we found is that many employers don't have policies on how employees should work from home, how they should report their hours worked. Guidance for supervisors in terms of how do we rate and manage people and how do we evaluate their time management skills when they're working from home. These are important things to figure out now versus having to try and figure it out in the midst of a second wave. Another thing to consider is whether or not you have agreements and policies in place with respect to company-owned property and client or customer confidential information. These are things, again, that we should think about now versus waiting until we're in the midst of a pandemic. A third thing that I want you to consider is your preparedness policy, and does it address a situation that might involve a second government shutdown or a workplace exposure incident? Do you know who you would notify in the event of an exposure? Do you know what you would notify your employees of? And would you shut down for a particular period of time due to an exposure incident? Do you know what areas of your workplace are high-touch surfaces that may need extra attention in terms of disinfectant and cleaning? These are all things that should be addressed in a policy as a guideline to whoever the on-site supervisor or manager is during these times so that they can use it as reference material in the event of an incident to determine what their responsibilities and best practices are to manage that situation. And fourth, this is a very important time to seek out and build relationships with people in key industries. For example, do you have somebody that you would go to in the event that a legal issue arises related to the global health pandemic? Do you have a company that could come in and do a disinfecting and deep cleaning of your workplace in the event of an exposure incident? Do you have a partnership with an occupational health provider that could potentially provide testing to employees in the event of an exposure incident or in the event of after a shutdown or after you've sent employees home to determine who is safe to bring back into the workplace and who may need to remain working from home for a period of time? Again, these are all very important issues that I urge you to think about and consider and get something in writing on these issues ahead of time so that you're prepared and not caught off guard in the event of Wave 2 of the global health pandemic. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm Brandon Grysko with the law firm Fausone Bohn, serving clients throughout Michigan and particularly in Western Wayne County. Feel free to reach out to us at 248-380-0000. If you have any questions or concerns, we're here for you to help you through these difficult times. Thank you very much.